Hello, welcome back. I'm here with a sewing video. I'm so sorry it's been so long. I know all of my lovely subscribers have been badgering me on Instagram and various social media channels to get back into the sewing. It's all been too knitty and too crochet and too yarny for you, and I really am sorry, but Christmas was mental for me. I had family staying with me for about 6 weeks in total, through December and January. And what with just the craziness of Vlogmas and festivities in general, sewing just, it got pushed back. I also had a huge restructure in my studio. I had a big clear out, moved all the furniture around, changed everything around, and there just wasn't any space to sew, and I certainly couldn't sew at home when I had all my friends and family here. But I'm back. Enough with the excuses. I am back and I am going to have a chat with you today about working with stretch fabrics and show off a make or two, and talk about a pattern that I want to try and show you some fabrics and various other bits and pieces. And then I have another video up my sleeve that I'm going to film straight after I film this one, which I'll put up in a little while for you, of some other bits and pieces that I've been busy making. And rest assured, I am back on your YouTube screens with sewing stuff as well as yarny stuff. So let's start with what I'm wearing. Now, you may or may not know this pattern. This is the new Tilly and the Buttons pattern, which is Zadie. So you can see it here, and I'm wearing the capped sleeve version, which is here. So I was really keen to get my hands on this pattern. I went to a talk just before Christmas, I think it was, at the London Fashion and Textiles Museum, and Tilly was giving a talk about the business of sewing and getting into sewing and how she started and developed her business. And as part of that, she showed us this sewing pattern. So I've actually seen it long before even I think the pattern testers necessarily got their hands on it, and I was really excited, being a huge fan of Tilly's patterns anyway, but particularly her Cocoa pattern, which is designed for stretch fabrics. I was really pleased that she was bringing out another stretchy fabric. It was a dress that was designed to be made in Ponte, which is a lovely fabric to work with, and it was a little bit more advanced and had some more technique to it. So I was really excited. So as a wholesaler, I am able to get my hands on the patterns again a little bit earlier than the general public. So I put my order in for my class patterns as soon as I could, and it was delivered. So I was itching to get started. I didn't have any fabric, and I thought, do you know what, I've got so many scraps left over from all the different jersey and Ponte things that I've made in the past that I'm going to try and make a scrap version. Mainly because I wanted to try the pattern out first of all, but also just for a bit of fun as well, just to use up those scraps and to see what I could come up with. So this is my version. So I will stand up to show you, move my chair out of the way. So I don't know how far back I can get, so you can see I've got a stripy front with the lovely big pockets. I've got pink panels. The front is a Pussycat stretch fabric that I bought from Fabric Rehab at Knitting and Stitching Spring last year. On the back you've got Ponte stripy panels, another piece of cat, and this is just a piece of black floaty jersey. So obviously it's not all Ponte. I'm going to get down here, there we go. It's not all Ponte, so it doesn't sit necessarily as well as it should do. The front is slightly thinner and the jersey at the back is slightly thinner, and also the jersey that I've used on the neckband is also a bit more t-shirty, so it doesn't sit as stiffly as it probably should do. But just for technically trying out the pattern, I'm really pleased with it. I've shortened it quite a lot. Because for me this is more of a fun tunic, so I'll probably wear this over leggings. What I have noticed is that it's not amazingly flattering from the side. I could probably lose a couple of inches. So I've made a 5, which is my usual Tilly size, but I can easily lose a couple of inches here. and then you can see it cinches it in a lot more. So I think next time I make this, I'm going to go down and I'm going to make a 4. Now, it's not usual for Tilly's patterns to come up big. They're normally absolutely spot on, but I have noticed a lot of people have been saying that Zadie does come up a size bigger. So I would suggest maybe do what I've done, make a 12 first of all. Obviously I could take this in if I wanted to, but the fact that I'm just going to wear it as a kind of tunicky top, I'm not going to worry, I'm quite happy with it. But when I do make my next one, I am going to make a size 4. I think some of the other things, and the reason that may also be, is that it isn't 100% Ponte. Obviously this is just a thin jersey, as is the jersey at the back, and so that's got probably more stretching than Ponte would have, and so it's stretching out more across the bust and leaving more space at the sides. So it's certainly no fault of the pattern, that's for sure. It's more the way that I've made it and the fact that I've cobbled it together with fun fabrics. But it is a really, really easy make. It's a perfect Tilly, basically. The instructions are great, the photos are great. Step by step, you can follow it through, make yourself a really easy dress. It isn't for beginners. Getting these bits right, obviously you've got to get all the points just spot on so they all sit right. It's fiddly, it's not hard. But if you make sure you follow all of her little points that she puts in for needle positioning and needle turning, pivot points, then you'll be absolutely fine. If you've had a little bit of sewing experience before, I would suggest that you, if you haven't worked with jersey before, you perhaps make a cocoa first of all to get a feel for the fabric and work out how that works and how it sews together and get a bit of an understanding of that first of all. I made this purely on the sewing machine. I didn't use the overlocker at all. I wanted to make it as if I was one of my pupils because they won't necessarily have overlockers. So I need to be sure that I can make it as they would make it so that I can then go on to teach this as a class. So I have plans to make another one because I want to try the long sleeve version. I've got some of, oh, is it in the back? Where is it? It's not in it. I thought I had some in it. I've got some black and white stripe just like that on the front at the studio, and I'm going to use, I've got enough to do the front and the back bodice in the stripe, so I'm going to do this version almost identically, except I'm not going to do a blue for the sleeves. I went on the Sew Over It website and I've purchased this lovely purple, which is a lovely colour, and some of this dusky pink. So I'm going to do these two together. I don't know if we can get them to show up. There we go. Can you see that? So dusky pink and purple, and I'm going to put the stripe in the bodice. So again, I'll make that on the sewing machine. I won't make that on the overlocker. So once again, I can get a feel for how it will work in class, and then we will put this on as a class for you. I'm not sure when that's going to be. It might not be until the autumn because we are booked up now through till about June, July time, I think. And I also think it's not, as I say, it's not a beginner pattern. So although it's very simple to do, I think it will probably be for some of my pupils who've been in and done a bit of basic dressmaking with me before and potentially are looking to progress to sort of the next level. So I'll keep you posted on that anyway, but obviously I have my fabric. I have taken this pattern and I've cut it into a size 4 already. So I'm ready to go to the studio and cut that out and get sewing on that. So hopefully I will have it to show you at some point. So that's my Zadie. Absolutely love it. Really, really good. If you'd like the pattern and you want to purchase it from Beautiful Things, then let me know and I can sort a copy out for you. And I thought while I've got you here, I would talk to you about a sewing disaster, which also involves stretch. So it's kind of all on the same theme. So you may remember this fabric from one of my fabric hauls. It's a stretch cotton, and I thought, lovely, I'm going to make another pair of Sew Over It Ultimate trousers. So that's what I did. I've got my rosy Sew Over It Ultimate trousers, my rose fabric, and they fit like a dream, so I know they fit perfectly. I've already got the pattern all traced off, so I cut them out and I sewed them up. Brilliant. They didn't take very long. They're lovely and easy to do. I put them on, except I couldn't get them past my thighs. And I couldn't understand why. Had I put the leg in back to front? Had I stitched the waistband in wrong? What had I done? Why couldn't I pull them up past my thighs? I said, just, sod it. After a while, I could not work out what I'd done wrong. As far as I was concerned, I'd sewn them together perfectly. There is absolutely no reason why these trousers should not fit me. But they didn't. So I gave up. I haven't even bothered hemming them. I'd put them on. I'd got them finished. I'd put the zip in. You can see I've got the zip in here. I've done all the waistband. They are good to go. Nice pair of ultimate trousers. So I thought, I'll give them to my mum. My mum's smaller than me. For whatever reason, they don't fit me. I can't understand it. Gave them to my mum. My mum tried them on and she couldn't do them up either. She just about got them up over her thighs, but there was no way they were doing up. So I honestly just didn't know what had gone wrong. And all of a sudden, it hit me. This stretch fabric only stretches one way. Okay, so this is the length of the trouser. Stretches this way. This is the width of the trouser. Nothing. Absolutely no stretch. I'm a sewing teacher. I should know these things. And I do know these things. But in my rush to get these trousers cut out, I had simply folded the fabric in half, put the pattern on, cut the pattern out and sewed it up. I didn't even think to check which way the stretch went. Now, of course, had I laid the pattern pieces on the fabric so the stretch went across the pattern pieces instead of down the pattern pieces, then the fabric would have stretched over my thighs, it would have stretched over my bottom, and it would have done up. There would have been no problem at all. So one simple, teeny tiny mistake has rendered this pair of trousers a complete and utter waste of time, waste of fabric, and waste of a perfectly good zip. These trousers are fit for the bin and nothing else. No one can wear them because absolutely nobody is completely and utterly flat. They all have curves, even if they're tiny curves, and those curves are not fitting in these trousers. So there's a lesson learned for all of you. Before you cut out your fabrics, check which way your stretch goes. And whichever way it goes, you want it to stretch across your body. So, little top tip from me that we should all know, but I bet you I'm not the only one to have made such a silly mistake in the past. So, I will certainly learn from that mistake and I'm not going to do it again. So, next time I find the perfect stretch cotton to make yet another pair of lovely ultimate trousers, I will be making sure that my stretch goes across my garment. So that's all from me today. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed my little ins and outs of stretchy sewing and I'll be back with you soon. Bye bye.